I've got some background noise. I'm going to mute all, even though I love to hear from everybody. Oh, now it's so quiet. All right, am I recording? Yes, I am. Woohoo. All right, so welcome everybody to the introductory class for introducing you to my 6-month program. I think I've settled on calling it Big Money Sales Strategies Group Coaching. And my goal today is to give you some really good content and have you thinking a little bit more about how you can create awesome sales, become more confident, feel like a master salesperson, and not feel salesy. That's the thing about selling, is a great salesperson is really in this place of service. They believe in their product and they do everything they can to educate and communicate the value, to give amazing service. And if people don't say yes to whatever it is we're selling as a master salesperson, it's because they truly don't want it, not because they don't quite understand why, in my opinion, having portrait art in people's homes is the absolutely most valuable thing that anyone can own, other than, well, we don't own children or spouses. So, you know, something irreplaceable, something that comforts us, makes us smile, helps us not feel so bad about time passing, reminds us when we were thinner and younger so we can pretend we still are. Yeah. Oh, I'm screen sharing. Is that Joel? Craig? Huh, what happened? Oh, we just did a screen share. And that was some nice work, Craig. Okay, where was I? So for people that don't know a little about me, I started out as a woman with a Minolta and a dream. I bought a camera, and because I had been editor of my high school yearbook, as my friend Lynn knows, I had developed a lot of, what do you call it, synapses in my brain about photography and editing, cropping, storytelling, so that when I got a good camera when I was 25, I think, the photographs were great. And eventually I was running a little business in the San Diego airport, and the '82 recession hit, and it had been a contracted thing, and they wanted to cut my guarantee, and so I ended up unemployed. She told me it would be the best thing that ever happened to me, and at the time I was not happy, but at the same time I was listening to her, and that had a lot of impact. So day by day, year by year, I learned how to create a business. That's been 36 years, and I am so grateful. It's been growing me personally. I've got a lovely life and a home, and I travel, and retirement, and, you know, save for retirement. And I know that I've brought a lot of joy and comfort and beauty using my gifts, not only for photography, but for sales. For some reason, I was born to be a salesperson. My first thing that I ever remember doing where I made something creative and sold it was walking around the block picking flowers. I did not know that people planted those. I was 7. And then making bouquets and walking around and selling them back to them, which must have cracked people up. So about 4 years ago, the call to officially be a coach, teacher, mentor, as a business, I just could not run from it anymore. And so the last 4 years or so, this has been growing. And it's been so gratifying to watch people just blossom into amazing photographers and business people and more. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. I love that you're all on the call. So just in case, could you raise your hands? I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. Raising hands. Who else? Is it only Joel that can hear me? Uh-oh. Does anyone else know how to raise their hand? Okay, there's another one. Amy. Oh, Amy's on. Good, good, good. Amber, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but I still haven't figured out how to raise my hand. I've been looking.
I'm going to have Joel explain it again.
Okay.
Joel, can you explain how to raise the hand again for people that don't know?
If you go up to the top right of the window, there's a little full screen icon. Click that, it will bump out a side panel with participants. At the bottom right, there's a button for lower hand or raise hand. But it switches back and forth.
Okay. So how about if you can hear me and you can't figure that out, click on the video and wave at me that you can hear me. I don't want to miss out on all these amazing people. Jenny, I hope you can hear me. I don't see a Jenny Edwardstock. I don't see a mic for you. So maybe you're on the phone. Okay, I was on a roll. Okay, how about if we do this in the chat box? Down on the bottom, just put, I can hear you. I see. Okay, good. So Jenny's here, Amber. I saw George. I told the raise your hand on the phone, Jenny, I don't know. All right, so I just, you know, technology, I just want to make sure I can hear, but I don't see a hand raising thing. Okay, well, no worries. Okay, so I'm going to launch right in. I hope you all got your class notes. If you didn't, I'll give you the headings and you can take notes either by hand or on computer. So the first thing I want to do is share with you why I think selling in person serves your clients and serves your business. Some people still do shoot and share and what I call post and pray. TM on that, I coined that phrase, but I'll share it. Post and pray meaning you have a gallery and you post it, you cross your fingers and hope they'll figure it all out and then buy. So in-person sales, what you're doing is you're becoming a trusted advisor. By at every point in the relationship the relationship with your client, you are developing this relationship that is a friend, but you're guiding them. And that is something you can't do if you're putting it online. At that point, you're not selling, you're order taking and hoping that that comes through. I have a feeling almost everybody on this webinar is convinced of that. So, but just in case, I thought I'd share that. So my thoughts on how it serves your clients. First of all, providing beautiful finished portraits is a gift to them. More than them, you know, and I know how these will be lasting treasures. Especially with young families, they might be thinking, oh, I want this today of the baby, and they don't realize, like my friend Jenny, who's on the call, has a toddler now, and she's got beautiful pictures of her child when she was a little baby, and that baby's gone. So having photographs at any age of anyone we love is a gift to them. Selling in person, the gift is that they'll actually get them printed, and they'll get them printed properly. The other thing is, when they invest well, they mean more to them. If someone gets some files for $200 or $300, even if it's done by, let's see, Leonardo da Vinci was a photographer. How would you know it was a Da Vinci if it never got painted on that ceiling or that wall or on the canvas, and he just gave you something that you could magically print? I've never thought of that before. If it's silly, just move on. So there is a skill and an art to printing things properly, composing them well on the high-end professional papers and canvases that only we have access to. So that's one thing. Number two is the joy that I experience. So it's kind of selfish. Sitting down with clients and experiencing their reactions is everything to me. They cry, they laugh, they hug me, and it also helps me and helps my clients that I coach have more confidence, because when you see what they love, then you know you're doing well, and also it helps you improve your work, because if they're getting everything, or they're seeing them at home or in the grocery store all on their own without you gauging their reactions, then how do you know what you did well and what to do again? So when I did weddings, I always did many things that I always did, but I was looking for new ideas, and to be able at that point in my life when I was doing weddings for my first 10 years in business, I would see what they would love and what they would put big in the album and make a wall portrait. So it's educational. The other gift for families is it's preserving their family legacies. Digital images have a kind of a life cycle of about a month or two, unless Facebook decides to say, hey, here's what you were doing 7 years ago. So to have the photographs in their home to look at day after day after day keeps them present in their lives. So that's a gift. And then there's this little bonus for you, and that's better clients. No, sorry. Yes, that's one bonus. Is it seems like when people are paying less and getting less service, they actually expect more and are more difficult. I don't understand. If I get something for a bargain, why would I think it should be the same quality and service as something that would cost me 10 times more? But there's some human nature that I've found. I think it comes down to respect, and that they don't trust it. They don't trust the work. They don't trust us as much. So when you have your clients pay well for your services and your prints, they treat you as a professional. They're not better people, just that the relationship, the whole experience for you is more fun and more gratifying. And they trust you. And then, of course, the really important thing that some people discover when they switch to selling in person is that their income goes way, way up. When you can be the trusted advisor and guide them in every step of the way and deliver beautiful finished work, you get more money, and that's awesome. So I don't know, raise your hands or put a note if in here if you think, yes, more money, I like that idea. Three new messages, 4. Oops. Yep, sounds great. I like money. I do too. I think you maybe have noticed already, though, that it isn't my first priority. Money comes, money goes. I'm always going to be able to find some way to earn it, but to do something that is so deeply gratifying, and that's providing lifetime memories and beauty and all the good stuff, that is why I love photography, and I'm guessing why you love photography. It's everything. So let's see. So now we're into the, if you're following your notes, the intro to the trusted advisor concept. So I've already given you a little tip on that. And I asked the question why it's the #1 strategy for selling anything, especially a high dollar product. So the why, first of all, is as a guide, we can find out, and a trusted advisor, we can #1 find out what's important to them, what their style is, and also guide them to what we know as artists and business people in photography have the lasting value. Thinking about anything big I've ever purchased, like a car, the people who, first of all, really listened to me, but also were not there to sell, but to, they created a relationship with me where then when they shared information and ideas and features, I trusted them. So let's see. Yep, I think that's all I have to say about that. So the next, from 1 to 5, are the different aspects of becoming a master salesperson that I'll be teaching in my group program, A Step at a Time. The group program is 6 months, and each month we're going to feature one of the areas of creating a great business, but especially creating those great sales. And so I'm going to just give you a little overview, but then I'm going to give you some meat in here, which will be how I structure my sales room, or my sales session. So the first important step in having a great sale is having your pricing set up both for profit and for ease in the sales room. What I mean by that is having a strategy so that when you have an end goal in mind, the pricing is set up so that you will arrive there without overwhelming or confusing your clients. And also that once they make those purchases, you actually get income. One of the things that I do want to say, just in case anyone on the call, sorry, a little water here. Thank you. One of the, all right, let me backtrack. Where was I? Pricing for profit, da da da. Oh, there's this like, I don't know where this came from, but it comes up a lot in some Facebook chat rooms about how should I price? How many times do I multiply? Do I do it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? My answer is you mark it up as much as you can to sell what you want to sell successfully for the dollars that you want to earn. Something that's a lower cost, like an 8x10, I might mark up 200%, or I don't know, do the math. Something that's going to cost me $800 to produce, I might mark up 3 to 5 times. It just depends. It's the overall strategy of most of my clients are going to be purchasing this, this, and this. So I'm going to price it so that I can easily arrive at a sales average of this. That's what works to me. So number 2 is the importance of using the phone. What I find is some people are phonophobic. Does anybody feel that? Where the thought of picking up the phone and making calls sends you just into like a little bit of like a, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I think I'll go for a walk. Well, looks like a bunch of people are, yep. So Jen Lindbergh says she gets nervous, but she makes herself do it. Lynn likes talking on the phone. I do too. But it's funny when I'm about to make a sales call, I do have to get myself geared up and in that space. But one of the things that gives me confidence is that I have a script. Now, I'm a student of Charles Lewis. People that have been around, like George that's on the call here, and Joel know who I'm talking about. He toured in the late 80s, 90s, preaching about selling wall portraits. And he had recordings, cassettes. Does anybody remember what those are? I still have a few. And I kept the telephone cassette in my car and listened to it every day in my little blue Volkswagen for, I don't know, 6 months, so that I could get really comfortable with talking on the phone. So I find that now I don't follow the script. Like when I'm training, when I'm coaching one-on-one or in this group coaching, you're going to have a script and a concept with step-by-step. Like step 1, develop rapport. Step 2, get them to love you and love their life more. Step 3, what's the next one? Get them excited about your photography. 4, tell them a little about pricing. 5, get them booked. 6, give them the homework. So having that structure and then having, you can always make it your own, but the structure is important. Okay. Number 3, why the in-person consultations are critical. First of all, when someone takes the time to come over and engage with you, that says that this is important to them. For me, it's a step that pre-qualifies my clients. And I have that opportunity to continue to develop the relationship as the trusted advisor. Starts on the phone, continues in person. I can also show them my artwork. And there's something about a face-to-face connection, even just like, I think we have energy fields. And so getting kind of good vibes between you makes it much easier to create the products and sell the products that they're going to love. It also gives you that opportunity to go through your policies, to prepare them. For me, a successful photography session happens when they're prepared, when some of the tips that I pass on, like don't yell at your kids on the way to the photo session. I know that might seem weird to include that. I don't word it like that, but I say that everybody is stressed, especially mom and dad, and kids pick up on that, and they're usually a little bratty on the way to a portrait session. And if you are upset with them, then they're upset and they're not going to smile well. So if they do something really out of bounds, save any disciplinary action until we're all done. So I have other tips, what to bring, colors to wear. I tell them how they're going to have the sale, that it's in person in my sales room, and that is the only time they will be ordering. So I get in the consultation, it's harder to do that by phone, and it's really harder to just send it off to them. People don't read. I'm a skimmer, and I'm sure to miss some details that are very important. Then the third reason why in-person consultations are your best friend is because you can plant those seeds for the purchase. You can talk about wall portraits. You can have them bring pictures of their home and talk about their decor and where they might have beautiful locations to display the art you'll be creating for them. So, I see Natalie said she got her start with Charles Lewis. We're going back. So, yeah. His ripple of influence on this industry is immeasurable. And, I would not honestly have my business if I hadn't, many years ago when I was just an upstart, learned the value of selling in wall purchase. Anyway, yeah, but I digress. All right, so step 4 is to have a plan when you photograph. The plan is about shooting. Oh, I don't use the word shoot. Oops, bad girl. The plan is to create multiple art pieces with as many combinations as I possibly can do in order to not only have that one portrait that's going to be featured in a living room or a family room, but have other combinations that can go on the landing at the top of the stairs, in the other, if there's a living room, family room, a combo of 3 or 4 images, something nice of mom and dad for their bedroom, individuals of the kids. I want them to have all of it. So I keep track of what I'm doing in the combos so I can do that. I also sell a lot of books, and so I'm photographing so that there's lots of variety and lots of images for the albums as well as the walls. The other thing I do during the portrait session is still planting those seeds for the purchase. So if something's like spectacular, I might be like, oh my gosh, this might be gorgeous to be that art in the family room that we talked about, or just here and there. I just sprinkle in that concept that we're creating this art for the home. Okay, if you're following along in your program, step 5 is the importance of the sales room being set up to maximize sales. How you lay the room out can make a big impact. One of the things that I always suggest is that you sit next to your clients at about a, what would it be, 90-degree angle? Not a 180, like a 90-degree angle, so you can look at them and they can see you, and you can also look at the screen together. Also, I think a projector is absolutely critical for the biggest sales. Not just because TVs, I mean, I heard there's an 80-inch television, but it looks more like a digital item. And some of the things that I can do in the sales room, using white foam boards to hold up in front of the screen so that they see it as finished art, or quickly show a cropping if I think something would, let's say, be a beautiful panorama, and I can hold up just a white board and show them a panorama, goes a long way to producing that beautiful portrait in their mind. Also, with a projector, you can go much larger. And also, if you get a really good projector, you can watch movies in your own house. You can set up a sheet over a fence in your backyard, have people bring their lawn chairs and watch movies. So it's kind of a fun toy to have. Let's see. Also in the sales room, you want to have a system. And I'm going to jump to that in just a second. That's the part I'm going to give you a little more meat. And then you need to get the money. One of my coaching clients, I don't think he's on the call now. I'd say former, but I always love to continue to support my coaching clients. His first sale, he started from zero, and we helped him build a pet portrait business. And the first time he sat down with a client, they wanted 7 large portraits. And if he'd known how to get the money, it would have been a $4,000 sale. But we hadn't covered that thoroughly because I didn't imagine, as we were in our series, he was still in the building stage, but he still closed that first sale for $2,000. So that's important to know how to do that. I'm wondering, anybody has any questions? If you can raise your hand or just put a note down in the chat. Jen Lindberg, do you just still have I'm going to lower your hand. And okay, no questions. Okay, do you use software for sale? Yay, good. I love it. I planted it there, Jenny. Just kidding. All right. So you can do your sales with Bridge that comes with Lightroom. You can do comes with Photoshop. You can do your sales in Lightroom. You can do your sales with ProSelect, which is an awesome program. I have never gotten in the habit of using it. And there are some features in it that I just don't need because of how I structure my sales system. But it's a great program. And Fundy, one of my coaching clients, Erin Bonilla, uses Fundy. One of the things that I like to be able to do is I like to be able to make categories or little albums, and Fundy, you can only do like a star system as far as I know. So about the projector or ProSelect, Sarah said she's kind of stuck. You can get a great projector used for about $300 or $400 on eBay if you know what you're looking for. I like the NEC Professional Series. Joel said true dat because he's the one that hooked me up to it. He's like, hey, that $1,600 projector you love, it's $300 or $400 on eBay. Oh, Sarah's the New Zealand girl. Yay, woman. Well, I Googled Australia for a client that I have in Australia, and there were lots of eBay, lots of eBay good projectors in this NEC, unless there's not eBay. One of the things to know is that even if you spend $1,500 on a projector, you're going to make that money back so fast. Like, let's say you charge it with the thought of, if before you have, well, first of all, you could potentially rent a projector or borrow a projector. If you let's say you order one from here in the States, it would be Best Buy, and you have 3 sales sessions and you decide I'm returning it in the 2 weeks or the 30 days return policy if I'm not able to get enough to pay for it. If you do the right sales strategy and you've done all the other steps, it will pay for itself. I've seen this in the last 30 years with friends over and over and over again. So there's some questions I don't quite know the answers to. So I'm going to continue on about the software, because you do not need to invest in ProSelect. Anyone, you're welcome, Sarah. Anyone that has Apple has a beautiful sales tool, and that's Photos or iPhoto. I learned to do my sales with iPhoto, so I'm totally habituated to it. And so it's hard for me to shift to anything else. I'm going to give you, let's see. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share here. Here we go. And I'm going to show you a little about I actually prefer the old iPhoto to Photos. There's a couple of little things that iPhoto does with these that, you know, anytime there's change, there's that learning curve. So I like the fact that I can make a major gallery and then set up my sales as we're going through the sorting process. We place things in potentials, potential wall, potential small, potential album. It's also easy. You can see the slideshows that I've done. Now, some people on this call would not want as busy, would not want their clients seeing this information. I totally understand that. That's one of the beauties of ProSelect is that, and probably, you know, anyway, so don't judge me because it isn't the most elegant, perfect, beautiful presentation. It works. I sell a lot of wall portraits, and it fits the system. So let's see. So I'm going to show you Bridge. Oh, there's Jenny's little girl. So with Bridge, you can, and I am going to cover some of this in detail so it makes more sense. You can do the categories. You can do stars, and then you can place things into smaller groups, like, and call it wall, small, and album. This will make more sense in a little bit. So I use the star system, and then I do a copy and move, basically copy and paste into the wall, small, and album categories. I don't know if that made total sense, but I'll demonstrate it. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to get into the meat. Right now, I cannot see your chats. So because we're screen sharing, I can only see my screen, just FYI. So I think it's 6 steps when I'm doing a sales session. Step 1 is the slideshow. By the way, personally, I include, probably the slideshow might have about 40 or 50 images, but then I might show 70 or 75 in the bigger group because I want them to edit down, but to a point where they have maybe 30 or 40 images they love so that I can put a book together and 45 wall portraits or less. I have sold as many as 20 to one client for one home, which is pretty exciting. And that was like 20 years ago. And I was like, oh, snap. There is way more potential than I thought in this business. Okay, where was I? So I leave in duplicates. I'll show you here. So some people might edit, like pick between, let's say, this one and this one. I leave them both in so they say yes to one and no to the other. Rather than if there's only one, then it's, do you like it, love it, or take it out? And it's too easy for them to take it out. But if there's, these two, or let's see, there were two of the boys on the lawn that were very similar, slightly different expressions. What they're doing is they're saying yes, 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 or maybe, 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 maybe to a lot of images. And the psychology of that is very powerful. So we'll go back to the bridge so that people can see the ease of that. So I do a slideshow, and then that's step one. I advise them not to get hung up on, oh my God, the sunset is beautiful outside for those of us in California. So they don't get hung up on, I ask them to just enjoy. Please try not to criticize yourself. Most people have something they don't love in pictures initially. So look at the baby, look at the people you love more than yourself in this first round. Then step two, we do yes, no, maybe. And so I put 3 stars if I'm doing bridge, or if I'm doing iPhoto or photos, I just delete because it's a separate, it's not taking it out of the program, but it's taking it out of the album I'm showing them. And in ProSelect, it's the happy face, medium face, frowny face. All right, so we have that edited down to, or yes, no, maybes. Then we go back and we compare. So step 4 is comparing apples to apples. So as I shared about the family in black, anything that is like totally similar, everyone looking at the camera with just slightly different expressions with the same pose, I'll say A, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, or if there's 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm not showing them, okay, do you like looking at the camera or looking away? No, because I want them to have both of those. So once we do that, and I also at that round, I think it's round 4, we don't look at ones where there's only a single. We're just comparing. So this next step is part of my secret sauce, something that I made up. Well, actually, back, a few of you remember when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we had film, and the way we did slideshows is they made proofs on slide material. So the only way that I could figure out to sort is once we edited to the ones we liked, then I would physically make 3 groups, wall, small, and album. So when I transitioned to this format, digital, then I was like, oh, how am I going to do that? And I figured out that in iPhoto, I could make those separate albums and name them, as you can see here, wall, small, and album. So once we've narrowed down to the ones we like, then we place, I go through each one at a time, project it full screen and say wall, small, or album. Wall, small, or album, highest potential. We're not ordering, we're just sorting. So in this case, actually, these were the ones they ended up purchasing. There were about twice this many in their gallery in this, in this wall grouping. And then smalls are anything that would be tabletop or some kind of story group that would be out. And then anything else goes in album. Even if they say, well, I don't want an album or I don't want a wall portrait, I still have them place them in these three categories. Okay, the next secret sauce is this. This is the money statement. So I'm talking to a client here. We are going to have another slideshow of the wall group. I'm going to run through it twice. I want you to notice how certain photographs give you a really strong emotional reaction every time it comes up. And that is what you're going to feel day after day, year after year, every time your eye falls on that portrait, if it's purchased in an appropriate size. That is the money statement. And what happens when you go through that slideshow, and little tip, I pretend I'm the client. I want to feel those tingles as well to help them decide. That's why I'm sitting where I'm a part of them, but also can watch the screen with them. So as we go through that slideshow, and I put it to music and I run through it twice, things that are really strong, you feel something. And that is one of my secrets to selling more than one or two images. The other thing that I do, and actually I do it earlier on in the stages, is that I have white foam core boards cut in lots of sizes and shapes, especially big. And if something is particularly beautiful, and I know I did it with this one, that could be a gorgeous wall portrait. I got up and I held a 24 by 36 in front of this image. When I did, I cropped the bottom out a little bit and this edge a little bit, and I put them in the perfect third. And suddenly they saw it as a piece of art. I don't know why, but they always make a sound. The sound is like, oh, ooh. So as I'm doing my sales, maybe 2 or 3 times I'll get up and I'll hold those boards up on something I think would be beautiful art. This one, which this ended up being their largest portrait, I held up a 40 by 40 and they could visualize it as the art piece. So that's one of those where I prefer that over what ProSelect does, which is you can run through the sizes. That I might do at the very end to pick sizes, but there's this seed planting earlier on for images that feel to me like they might be very successful art pieces. So after we do that and we check the tingles, then we move things out of the wall group to small that no longer have the strongest impact. And that's the point at which we start. Well, actually, I run through each one of the images that are still in the wall group and show it to them on the biggest board in either square, rectangle, or sort of a panorama rectangle, like a 24 by 36 is kind of skinny, so that they can picture it as art. The more we keep people in the emotional reaction and less in the details and numbers and sizes, the more these photographs can move them. They can fall in love with them, and then they have to have them. So this is the point where we pick out the wall art, we pick out the finishes. I'm telling them the pricing as we go along. And then I total up the wall art. And at that point, there's some strategies that we'll be going over in the group class, because there's different options depending on what feels comfortable to you. So, but that's the point at which we complete the sale, pick the smalls, pick a book if they want it, and then get the money. And yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing. And okay, so I was going to ask if there's questions, and Jenny has a really great a really great question. So some clients have a negative connotation for wall art and they see it as old-fashioned. I find that, first of all, as I'm planting the seeds, and there's lots of handling objections is, always part of the art of being a master salesperson. I often, like, one of the things I might say is, have you ever had a portrait that was designed to be beautiful art in your home, to go with your colors, to capture a moment in time that really expresses your family, that's worthy of being a large piece of art? Almost always they will say no. There's also magic in them seeing these projected, that once they see them, whatever they were thinking before has kind of gets dissipated. I use also, in the handling the objection, I use the feel, felt, found tool. I understand how you feel. Others have thought that wall portraits might be something that, their parents did or their grandparents. What I found is that when we create portraits that you feel, let's say it's a mother of a child, you feel like you could pick that child up again and hold them in your arms and smell that sweet baby smell and listen to that giggle every time you look at that portrait. I've found that people change their minds about having big portraits. So that's that's some of the things that I say. And yeah, so Craig and Sharon, I did not specifically go into asking for the money. Okay, can I say what again? Wait, let me finish. I'll finish my sentence. So Craig and Sharon, that's a whole strategy. You can, like, what I do is I create bundles. If they're keeping let's say they want 5 wall portraits and it's going to be $5,000. I will find out if they like the book option, if they want some smalls, and if there's a little pushback when I tell them $5,000, I will say, if they're like, oh, yikes, and we also wanted a book, then I will make a bundle and offer. So I might say, well, if we could do $6,500 and you could have these portraits and you could have the book you want and a nice collection of smalls, would that fit in your budget? Would that work for you? So, because I know my numbers, I know my cost of goods, that strategy, when I came up with that, however, whether someone taught me or I thunk it up myself, I have a lot easier time closing a sale and also not nitpicking about every 5x7 and the cost of that. And they call back less awesome to change their order. Another option is an incentive where their money goes farther. So if there's some pushback on $5,000 and I was doing this other system, okay, I guess I'm telling you. If I'm doing this other system, then, which is the bonusing, then and if they're like, oh, 5,000 and we wanted some other things, then I would say, well, remember, any purchase over 3,000, you get a 20% credit towards additional photographs. So you're going to have $1,000 to spend towards that book you want or some other small portraits. So those are the two things. Some people then have like packages. Packages confuse me because this is so customized the way that I take them on this sales journey, that the packages are like the one time I made a package because someone said, I won't book you if you don't. Of course, he didn't want what was in the package and we had to throw it out and start over. Okay, so the mother smelling the baby smell all over again was the genius. Say that again. Okay, so if you have a portrait in your home where you feel like you could pick up little Gina and hold her in your arms again and smell that baby smell and listen to her giggles every time you look at it, wouldn't you potentially consider having a larger portrait in your home somewhere so you could feel that over and over and over again? Then I will tell a story when I'm in my conference room. I have a portrait of my niece at 4, and she was my great niece. And her teen years were not too fun. And so I will tell the story of how these portraits of my niece at this age, every time I forget how much I love her, and hope she never hears this, but I would say it in person. Anyway, anytime, and it's true with any teenager. So maybe I would even bring in their teenagers. So I might say, okay, someday this baby's going to be a teenager. And it's not always fun to have a teenager in your home, but it's going to be really comforting when you are able to look at this portrait of your daughter when she was this cute little chewy little baby, and you'll remember how much you love her, and it'll give you extra patience to get through these teen years. So, do you like it? Okay. So, where are we at this point? Yes. All right, other questions? Questions? Anyone? Bueller? Okay, I'm going to go, I think, to my, how to remember all this. Well, you may ask. I have a program designed to help you. I did not do a plant on that. So oh yes, and it's even in the program, tell you some details. So several people on this call have already joined my Big Money Sales Strategy coaching group. And the group is going to meet 12 times over 6 months for about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And we're going to take each one of these chapters that go into the story of telling the awesome tale of beautiful wall portrait and album sales that give you hugs and happy clients and everyone getting to live happily ever after. So, you know, we're going to have sections on the how to be a trusted advisor. We're going to work on your individual pricing to be able to sell what you want with ease for the money that you want. We're going to have a chapter on the telephone, on the in-person sales, and the photography and the sales room, and handling objections. So each month is going to be dedicated to a specific section of this journey. And so there'll be coaching for the first class for about a half hour, and then question and answer time. Then the second class during that month, there'll be about a 10-minute review, and then more time for practice. And then if there are questions on the topic, and then there will be time for some individual questions and one-on-one coaching during the classes. So, and they're recorded. So if you can't make a call you can always watch it again. If you have questions, you can post them. I have a VIP group that is just my coaching clients, some veterans, some current clients. And so you can post a question there and either have it answered in that VIP and get support from other people in the group, or ask a question and say, can you cover this during the class? And I can cover it if you're not going to be on the call. Let's see, what else would you need to know? So it's it's 12 classes. You get the VIP. And the beautiful thing is there are some people in this group that are also or have been long-range coaching clients. So it's going to be a really awesome synergy. And I'm super excited. Does anyone know what the investment is? Say yes, please. Or no, just here's my credit card. Just kidding. Do tell. I like it. Jenny, I know how to have a New Zealand accent. So let's go get some fish and chops, shall we? That's my New Zealand accent. All right. So the class is normally $2.99 a month, but on this call by tomorrow, if you book, it's $199 per month through the. Okay, so it's $199 a month. It's a commitment of the 6 months. If you prepay that $199 a month, so that's like 11 something, then you also get a one-on-one full hour and a half coaching session privately, where we get your goals set up. We take a look at your pricing individually, some ideal client, other things that would be really, really helpful for you. And normally that's a $375 at least if you called and said, hey, let's just do that. So so that's the deal. And in terms of timing the classes, we have the schedule set for the next 2 months. And then a little bit before the first class, official class starts on the 18th, I'll send out this really cool calendar thing called Doodle with some times that work for me and have you, it's a survey so that we can balance, so that as many people as possible get to be on as many calls as possible. This time I've set it up so that the people that are already in the group are going to be at least in 3 of the 4 coming up. So any questions, thoughts? Do you want to know how to book me? Because I would love to have every one of you in this group. I'm just going to pretend somebody said yes. Oops. Am I? Yeah, there I am. Sorry, I was clicking things accidentally. Absolutely, Sarah, you can get your return on investment because you've got them booked, but you haven't got them in the sales room. And even if, I'm not sure if you're doing shoot and share or what, but so creating a business is a long range strategy. And the more you learn, the more successful you'll be for longer and longer. Hope that makes sense. So every step of the way, just learning how to be comfortable on the phone, learning how to set up your sales room in a way that maximizes your sales. Absolutely, Sarah, you would definitely get a return on your $199 a month investment, not just in the short run, but in the big picture. Because you'll get so many things of how to say things, how to handle objections, all of this stuff. So if you're interested, I would like for you to send me an email, luci@lucidumas.com. I'm going to put that in here. And put something in the heading, sign me up, contact me, I want to join, I can't wait, I don't know, something. And I will, then we'll get in touch and we'll figure out if you want to do the full pay and get that extra bonus of the coaching class, or if the month-to-month works out better for you. And somebody, 2DDDD, I don't know who that is. Yes, I'll book. Who is this? Okay. So so just send me that email. Oh, it's Glenna. Glenna, you're already booked. She's being cute. Glenna, you're so much fun. She's got the best New Jersey accent ever, and she's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Because I was open to this going up until 7, 5 through 6, 7. If you guys have more questions. So 2 or 3 questions. It's New York City. Is that right, Glenna? Okay. Anyway, we'll talk. So questions. And you're welcome, Jen, for hosting and all. I just love to share. As I said, I had to surrender to being a coach because I've always, even if somebody doesn't want me to teach them something, if I learn something, I have to go out and teach it or share it. If somebody has an issue, a thought, something holding them back, I need to explore that. So it's a delight to be able to share. So Craig and Sharon, thanks, Karen. You rock too. So thank you, Jen. So Craig and Sharon, send me an email and we will connect privately and figure out a way to talk and get you signed up. Does that answer your questions? My turnaround time, that's a good question. I tell people that it might take 8 to 12 weeks because I'd rather deliver early and because I'm super, super picky. I use what I think is the best professional portrait lab in the country, Mid-South Color Lab, at least of the dozens that I've either investigated or tried. And they're not an overnight because they take the time to make sure things are done well. And I do as well. I get color tests, I get color work prints. I'm super, super picky about details. So yes, Mid-South rocks. I am so glad, Joel, that I think I hooked you up with them. The thing about Mid-South, if you don't know, it's a smaller lab that has always been directed towards the pro photographer or helping grow people to become professionals. And when Janice answers the phone, I know it's her or Lisa or there's somebody else, it's not coming to mind, that answer the phone, and they know my voice. And I can talk to Dirk, the lab manager, and I can, in a pinch, I can talk to Amber, the printer. Amber knows what I love, so it's awesome. Okay. Any other questions before we sign off? So Lynn, I'm looking forward to our first group class, and I think we need to book. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our first class. And oh, thank you, Jenny. She's giving me a testimonial. Jenny and she has been a friend, and I've coined the term friend tour. for 10 years because when we first met, she asked if I could mentor her, and I said yes, and we've developed, she's the greatest. And then one day she said, okay, now I need the formal system. And so we've just completed our series and watched her grow. Even though we've been friends for 10 years, she's made a lot of progress because of this concentrated time that we set aside to focus on her business and what she needs to grow it. So it's been super awesome watching that. Okay. I'm just having fun talking to you guys. Last questions, last chance. Oh, hey, Sashi, you made it. Yay. So again, Luci at lucidumas.com. You can send an email, and it'd be awesome too if you messaged me, because then we could easily, and it's best to message me from my regular Luci Dumas. If you're not already friends, feel free to get in there, get friended, and we can talk. Okay, this will be Facebook, yes. This is being recorded, so everybody that I have their emails, I will send you the recording, those of you that sent the emails. So if you want to send an email and say recording please, recording only please, or something like that, then I'll put you on the list so that you can get that recording, and feel free to share it. Feel free to, I may figure out a way to post it on Facebook, but anyway, so it's available. You can listen to it again. You can make sense of your notes. You can share with friends. And as I said, this is starting October 18th. In the Evite, if you go to Luci, let's see, sorry. Okay, 2 more things. If you don't already have my ebook, 10 Big Ideas for Marketing in the Free World, I was going to say, or marketing in the real world, you can sign up for that at just Insight Training for Photographers.com. That will take you to a sign-in sheet. If you're not in my private group, then you're welcome to join it. It's Insight, bye Joel, Insight Training for Photographers is the private group in Facebook. If you haven't liked my page, Luci Dumas /Insight Training for Photographers, that will help you see notices. I'm finding that Facebook is very stingy, so I'm posting on both these days. Okay, I'm gonna call it good for now, unless there's any last questions. And I'm so delighted that all of you joined me, and super excited about this class. So big hugs to everybody, a big group hug. Okay, here we go. Wait, how do we do this? That's a group hug. Okay, bye.